Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a really spicy deck list that I saw whilst, browsing YouTube as you do. And well, this is based off of the Stuttgart Top 32 Ogerpon Toolbox deck. Obviously I have covered a Ogerbox deck before, but obviously that was a very different beast compared to this one. And we even have a very spicy attacker, which I must admit I forgot existed. So as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links to the deck list, which is also available in the company description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So of course, like a Ogerpon box should be, we are mainly focusing on the Teal Mask Ogerpon with its Teal Dance ability. We're playing a decent number of grass energy to obviously allow us to Teal Dance. Obviously we have grass coverage inbuilt with the Myriad Leaf Shower, but obviously we're not just playing that. We do have the Wellspring, we do have a Pikachu in here as well as a little extra punch. We also have Clefairy, Mew and Latias to give us psychic coverage. But the main star of the show, well I would say star, the main card that I forgot existed is this Passimian from Surging Sparks. Now this may not look like much in comparison when it looks, when you look at him. But his attack coordinated throwing for 20 times is actually quite underrated. This not only gives us a single prize option into a Kangaskhan, but also gives us a single prize option into Fez. So obviously, they can gust, and obviously that does mean that Passimian does lose a little bit of value, but having the option to go fighting energy plus another energy, maybe a grass energy off of one of the Teal Masks, and immediately take out a Fez is actually quite good. Now for obvious reasons, we do need 6 Pokemon down, but we're playing nothing but basics anyway, because remember, this is off of basic Pokemon, it's not based off of a number of, Pokemon in play on your bench. So with Passimian and 5 basics down, we're taking out a Fez, which, that's not bad. And like I said, this can reach numbers of Kang. Now it won't take out a Bravery Charmed Kang with the, the Bouffalants and stuff like that. But you don't really need to. And well, it's a spicy attacker. I've decided to throw in a copy of Mega Absol in here. This is mainly for Dark type coverage, but having the option to Claw of Darkness is really underrated, and well, it was quite an easy fit. It's just, we are playing a bit risky with the energy count, but you'll see that when we go to the deck list. Otherwise, we have the usual squad. We do have Bloodmoon Ursaluna in here, we do have Mega Kangaskhan, and I have thrown into Terapagos just so we have an extra Terra, and also an answer to Cornerpon that isn't, plinking it with Passimian, I guess, or maybe Absol. But obviously, we have a lot of attackers, so let's go to the deck list and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. This is easily one of the wildest deck lists I've worked on and had the pleasure of working on, because it's been really funny. The only major thing that holds this back is, funnily enough, the Absol, and it's not for the reason you might think. It's the fact that I've only been able to squeeze in 2 dark energy, because trying to squeeze in a third is not easy. And obviously, we don't really have a way to facilitate terminal period. And obviously, it's not ideal if we want to be doing that. Now, I did debate Petcharon as our dark attacker, but obviously that does require our opponent to at least take a couple of prizes. And, well, I don't really want to do that. And if we're taking on a Gardevoir deck, we want something that can immediately hit. Otherwise, this is just a deck list that is extremely wild, and hopefully it will work out for us. So obviously we are playing 3 Teal Masks, 2 Wellsprings, a Pikachu, a Clefairy, a Mew, a Latias, the Passimian. He's going to be my boy in this video. I hope I get to attack with him. We're also playing Mega Absol, Terapagos, Mega Kangaskhan, Fez, and of course Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Then for draw we have 4 Lillies, 3 Crispin, 3 Boss, and 1 Judge. Then for item cards we have a Nest Ball at a 4 count, we have Energy Switch at a 4 count, 2 Ultra Balls, 2 Earthen Vessels, 2 Night Stretchers, 1 Super Rod, 1 Tera Orb, 2 Bravery Charm, 1 Sparkling Crystal, 2 Area 0 Underdepths, 6 Grass, 2 Dark, 1 Lightning, 1 Fighting, 1 Water, 1 Psychic, and 1 Metal. I think we're only missing like 1 or 2 types off of this, other than Dragon, because obviously Dragon doesn't have a basic energy type. Could you imagine basic energy, Dragon type? That'd be really weird, but still. This is definitely like an archetype that I don't think has a lot of room to grow, but upon seeing this, because it came up in my recommended, I was like, I've got to try it, and I'm sorry, but I'm glad I now know this Passimian exists, because this could come up in the Wheel of Pain, this could be a very good little attacker if we get a basic fighting type on the wheel. And, well, I would want to play him because he's cool. And, well, I actually do like Passimian. It's quite an interesting little Pokemon. But like I said, the only other thing that's holding this list back is the Absol with 2 Dark. It is definitely something to consider, because, you know, there's not really anything else that you can put in. There's not really any good Dark types at the minute. Like, as I said, there's Pecharunt, which could be pretty good, but obviously, in order to take out most Dark-type weak Pokemon, you would need them to take 3 prizes, and, well, that's kind of situational at best. But hopefully, we can potentially get Absol going, but I really want to attack with Passimian in this video, if that wasn't obvious. So, let's get to a match, see how we do. And welcome to the first game. We're up against someone in Tina rank, a little bit higher than us, but, well, I've been playing some funny decks, as you already know from looking at the channel. I will say I'm a bit disappointed with how the Porygon video went, but, well, that's just how it is, unfortunately. I don't sugarcoat it. If the deck has a hard time, it has a hard time, and, well, facing Joltik Box is probably one of the worst matchups for the deck, but it's not that big of a deal. And plus, this archetype doesn't mind going first or second, so it's actually pretty versatile. And we're going second, that's fine by me. And we do start the Kang, that's what we like to see. We do like a Kang start. And I'm no expert on the sleeves, and I was about to say, I'm no expert on the sleeves, but I suspect we are facing Mewtwo and Spidops, which we are. Could be a tough matchup, but, you know, we could potentially get there. Zubat! Ooh, this is spicy. I like this already. Okay. So we have Team Rocket's Crobat with Team Rocket's Zubat. Well, with Team Rocket's Spidops. This ought to be interesting. Tarantula, Zubat. Okay. We've got a really spicy deck build going on here. But obviously the spiders are their main attackers, so I would want to take out the spiders, but it depends on obviously what we get off the draws and stuff. Okay, let's see what we get off the top. Dark Energy is not particularly useful, so I'll bench the Latias. I'll put down an Area 0. Do I want to put down this Terapagos? It doesn't really matter. Like, its second attack is good, but it's not a very good second attack in this matchup. I think I just Lillies to start off with, because then we can run errand afterwards. Ooh, okay, that's not bad actually. We can get the Teal Mask going there. I should have Nest Ball, but it's fine. So we'll Teal Dance to you. Okay. So then I'll Nest Ball. Do I want to grab Passimian? Because Passimian's actually going to be a good attacker in this matchup. Have I priced the Fighting Energy? That's what's going to dictate my reasoning for that. We haven't, but I could do that. Because we have Wellspring in hand, and we're going to need Passimian as a backup attacker anyway, so let's see what we get. So then we'll run Errand for 2. Oh, I was kind of hoping for a Crispin off of that. I can sob this Zubat, but that feels kind of bad. And then we'd have to retreat Kang. I'm just going to attach a Lightning, and I'm going to pass. Kind of a shame, but I can deal with it for now. And if they don't evolve those spiders, we can take out both spiders. The Crobat we can deal with because it's Lightning weak, and we play Pika, which can deal with them in a single hit, so still. Plus, they didn't get any basic energy in the discard pile, so that's another reasoning for passing there. But let's see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to how this matchup goes, and obviously we have the Passimian, which is automatically a big W. And, well, he's actually going to be good in this matchup, because Passimian is just a nice card to have in this matchup. But obviously, ideally, I want to be taking out these Zubats. The spiders aren't that big of a threat because they don't have basic energy in their discard pile. They're going for the Sneaky Bite. And they're putting it on the Kang. That's fine. Ariana for 6. I was kind of hoping they didn't have an Ariana, but unfortunately they do. Let's see what they do to them. Because obviously we do have free retreat with a Latias, but they do have a Dark type attacker which could potentially hit us for weakness on that Latias. We do have Clefairy as well, which is good in this matchup for a single, well, a decent attacking option. But then again, judging by the evidence I've seen, I don't think they're playing Mewtwo, but we'll soon find out. So they're Ultra Balling away a Proton and a Super Rod, that's fine. There's another Spider, so that does protect them with the Wellspring for now, but not the Zubat and the Crobat, or the Golbat. And just pass, that is fine. There's Pika. We're going to need Pika in this matchup. So, I'm just going to Lillie straight off the bat, I think. I didn't make that joke because of the thingamabob, don't worry. Okay, not great, but we could potentially get there. So we're going to Nest Ball for another Teal Mask. So then I'll Kang first, because Kang gets us a guaranteed 2 of that mucking about. Then we'll Teal Dance, number 1. Teal Dance, number 2. Just need Water already, Bob, and we don't get neither. I could sob this, but it just feels kind of bad if they do get that going. But we can attack with Passimian, so we're going to do that. Let's do it. Get in there, Passimian. Coordinated throwing. Get in there, my lad. Good job. I did say I was going to attack with him this video, and there's the Crispin that I needed. But no, I had to do it. You know, like, the option's there, it's a single prizer. Like I said, I didn't even know this card existed when I saw that video, you know. I didn't even know it existed. We can get rid of one of the Teal Masks. We can spare a Teal Mask. We're not going to win the Spidadian War, but Passimian can still take out this Golbat right now with resistance. Because we're doing 120 minus 30, we can take out this Golbat with the Passimian. There's Giovanni. That could be a problem. What are they going to do with the Giovanni? Because you don't have any energy in the discard pile. And unless you have Vessel, you're not really doing much. Targeting the Kang makes sense, to be fair. But I don't think they've got it. Because now we can go back into Passimian. Obviously, we're only doing 120, but we have the secondary as 0. But I would want to take out that Golbat if I can. So I'm probably going to boss the Golbat, to be honest. Take out the Golbat, and then it can't evolve into a Crobat. They're not really doing a lot, which is benefiting us, but now we can sob it with Ogerpon, which is nice. We did have the Water Energy in deck as well, so we can definitely do that. But I don't really want to Crispin for turn. That just feels kind of bad at this point. I'd rather roll around, see if I can get it. Night Stretcher back that grass and go from there. It's probably what we're going to do, but still. They are definitely taking quite a long time with their actions. They've only played Giovanni, which is weird. But now we can sob this Spidops, which is good for us. There's Vessel, so that saves me playing the Crispin this turn. That's good. I'll get rid of Clefairy. I'll grab the Water Energy and one of the Darks. But then again, I need to play Crispin anyway because I don't have a way of getting more energy on this card. So first let me erase 0. I'll then run Aaron because I could get an Energy Switch. I don't, but I could get one off this Lance. No, but I do get a Fez. So do I take out this Golbat? That's the thing. I'm not really sure. But do I also just sob the Spidops, or do I just hit it for 100 and then I could potentially 120 to go back there? Or do I just take it out with Passimian? Because I can do that. I'm going to attach for turn to the Wellspring. Do I judge? I'll judge. I don't think it's correct to Lillie's here. Okay, there's an Energy Switch, so that's good. Yeah, I'm just going to take it out with Passimian. Oh yeah, I need to put another basic down, so I'll Nest Ball, grab the Mew. And yeah, coordinate throwing for 140. Take out the Spidops. Oh, I love this Passimian already. It's such a funny little tech card. I hope if this does, like, if a card comes up that's basic fighting, because there are a few on the wheel, I know that much. There are a few on the wheel that would work with Passimian, so you never know. I could use this as a backup attacker, now that I know it exists. And the best part, it's H-block, so it doesn't rotate. Energy Switch doesn't either, because that got reprinted. But no, my opponent isn't really doing a lot, and I think they've possibly rage quit, so I think I was overthinking, but, you know, it's always nice to be prepared just in case, so I'm not too worried. But I think my opponent has definitely rage quit now. So I'll cut to either when they, you know, concede, or they actually do something. And yep, my opponent went and AFK'd on us. Quite unfortunate, but we did get to use the Passimian. Get in. I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, not a bad run. Let's go to a game 2. Welcome back to game 2. That was a pretty successful first game against that Team Rocket's deck. I thought at first it was Mewtwo, so we would need, you know, the Absol. And we did have both Dark in deck, so we could have done it, but definitely something that we needed to be careful of, because obviously we could have put the Dark Energy on the board at some point, but, you know, we didn't have to, but it's still something to consider. We're definitely going to go first. I don't mind going first or second with this deck, it doesn't really matter, but so far it's been pretty decently. And we do start the Teal Mask, excellent. Although looking at the sleeves, I have a feeling we're facing Gardevoir, which could be pretty tough. But at least we can Teal Dance, get an energy on the board, and go from there. We can Ultra Ball away this Terapagos as well. No, it's a Fan Rotom. Okay. There's a Crispin. I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to Ultra Ball away you and you. I'm going to grab Latias, I think. But then again, I'd rather threaten the Wellspring. Which I think I will, because... Do I grab Wellspring immediately? Because if they play Shaman, this could get ugly. But you know what? We're going to do it. So, Teal Dance. Pop it onto the Ogerpon. We do get a turn attachment. That's excellent. So we'll attach to you, and we will pass. If we can get immediate pressure with the Lillie or the Crispin, we'll take it. I don't know what we're facing, though. That's the only thing. I will say, the only thing that I don't like about this archetype is how hard it is to find Crystal. Because you have to draw into it, which I don't mind. But maybe a 2-2 Noctowl line could potentially do something like that. Like a 270 HP Hoot Hoots. But then again, you'd have to play, you know, Body Puffin to search them out. You'd have to play more Ultra Balls. Okay, a Teal Mask Ogerpon, that is fine. You could be facing Bolt. If it's Bolt, this could be interesting, but we do have Clefairy. There's Area 0, so that's fine. If it is Bolt, I will Lilies for turn rather than Crispin. Because obviously I could obviously take 2 prizes, but I'd have no board, so let's see what happens. They are definitely taking their time, but it's not a big deal as long as they don't slow play. They're obviously thinking about what to do, which is fair enough, but I think we're facing Bolt. I'm not too sure because my opponent isn't really doing anything. Is it just common for people to, you know, like rage quit the ladder so much? I don't get it. It's Terapagos, okay. There's a Judge, that's fine. I'd even laugh if it was a mirror, like was playing, you know, this sort of mirror approach. There's my boy Passimian, he could come in handy in this matchup. Fan Call. Obviously we're not technically facing a mirror, but I think this is just Terapagos. Which we don't really play an answer to Pika, but we do have Passimian to hit it for fighting weakness, which is something. So let's see what we can do here. Do they have the energy to hit the Ogerpon? Because that could help them, I guess. But that Judge has really bit us on the back foot, which I'm not too happy about. Hopefully we can find out Judge. If not, a Lilies would go pretty hard. And there's the pass. That is fine. There's a boss. Boss ain't bad at all. Well, I'm going to bench the Mew. I'm going to bench the Passimian. I will then Teal Dance. Ooh, okay. I can take out this Fan, can't I? What have I got in the discard pile? Terapagos. Terapagos is good. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to attach the Ogerpon. Night Stretcher back that Terapagos. Then restart for 2. Okay, there's a Crispin. That's good. Do I want to play it, though? I could. Yeah, let's play it. So we'll take the Water Energy and a Grass Energy. We'll take the Grass to hand. And we'll just mirror that Deep Shower. Take out the Fan Rotom. Now, obviously, if they can get that Pika going this turn, that feels kind of bad. But we'll deal with it. And judging by the immediate promotion, they probably can. But that's if they prize checked, because I didn't. Not really, anyway. But yeah, this could get ugly, is all I'll say. This could definitely get ugly. We could even attack with the Wellspring, hit the Pika with 100, and then take out the Hoot on the bench, because then that limits their options. That could be something we do. If they have Crispin plus Crystal, that feels bad. But hopefully we can make it work regardless, because this could be tough. Because like I said, they have a way to find their, you know, energy-saving tools, as I would like to call them. Because Terapagos is very good in this situation. But obviously we will need that water off the Wellspring if that's possible. So they do have the Crispin, so we are losing our Teal Mass this turn. Which is an issue, but we will deal with it. It's not a major issue. And plus, Area Zero is a dead card in this matchup. Unless they play Jamming Tower, which I very much doubt. Have they grabbed... No, they don't need to grab the different energy, it's fine. They can grab any two as long as they grab Grass, Lightning, or Metal. They have the Crystal in hand. But you'd want to Teal Dance if you can. Let's flip the script. This is not looking great for us. There's the energy. Feels kind of bad they have to attach Grass. Do they have another Grass in hand, maybe? Okay, no, not right now, but that's fine. We could, like I said, we could hit the Pikachu for 100 and then Torrential Pump that Hoot. That could limit their options. But then that also gives them Fez draws, so I don't know. But Hoot guarantees them cards, that's the thing. But they are definitely taking quite a while with their actions. I mean, there's not a lot to Tera Box once you learn it. I mean, to be fair, they're only like ladder rank 100, so maybe they're learning the deck, I don't know. Bad. We can obviously hit it with a Passimian as well, but the Passimian can't one-shot a Pika. There's the Topaz Bolt. So we'll promote the Mew as it is our free retreater. I could also just ignore the Pika and go for Noctowl Hoot, which wouldn't be a bad idea. And well, I think the game is trying to tell me to do that. So I'm going to attach to the Wellspring. Boss the Hoot, or the Noctowl. Retreat into the Ogerpon. I'm just going to Torrential Pump and hope for the best. Take out both Owls and just hope for the best. I don't think this is going to work, but it's worth a shot. It's our best option right now. Try and limit their draw and try and limit their Crispin potential. And speaking of the devil, there's our Crispin. And again, judging by the immediate promotion, they probably have it in hand, because they've had a lot in hand this game. And they've played one Crispin, so, you know, they have Fez draw, they have 9 cards in hand as it is. Fez gets them to 12, they obviously can Teal Dance twice, so that could be potentially 14 cards in hand. Yeah, this is not looking good for us. And to be fair, I kind of predicted this, because, you know, we don't really play a way to deal with a Pikachu. We just have to go around it. And that's kind of bad. There's an Ultra Ball. Something tells me they don't have it, because maybe the Pika is just a bluff here. And if they don't, that's good for us. Not a great thing, but we can deal with it. We can definitely solve the Pika, that's something we can do. I can also thin the fighting out for Passimian as well. Because Passimian can take out both Pika and Fez once we ping the Pika with damage. But now they're really taking a long time with their actions, which just indicates to me that they had the boss, so they could have done something with that. You know, he had the attack guaranteed, but he's still slow playing. Like, come on, man. Well, at least you know to avoid this player, I guess. That's at least something. We'll promote the Mew. That's their second Crispin, but that probably doesn't mean a world of difference. So I'm just going to bench the Kang. I'm going to Lilies. Just hope for some draw for this 6. Yeah, that's not a lot, Chief. I mean, I could give them my Pika to potentially stall a bit. I can Nest Ball for Fez now. We can also just Bloodmoon them in the face, but Bloodmoon feels bad right now. Plus, I'd need to find an energy. Which we do get. I think, realistically, my best option here is to actually give them the Pika. Because then I can potentially... Then again, I'd rather want to hit this, but I don't have anything that can hit it for 1 energy. I can go Passimian, I guess. I can attach the Passimian. Bury into the Pika, but then I have to No, Crispin's fine. Crispin's fine. If they don't have a way to take another 2 prizes, we should be fine. But if they don't... If they do have a way, we just lose, because there's no other thing we can do. The best thing I can do is give them Pika and just hope for the best. Because, you know, they have the crystal, we're not able to find ours, because we don't play a way to search it out. But no, I'm kind of hoping that they don't have it, because that could benefit us. But I think they've probably got it. Well, there's the Noctowl, so they had that in hand, and it still took them nearly 20 seconds to do that. If they have Boss or Energy Switch, you know, something like that, they can do it. Then that's game, but still. And yet they have Boss, so I'm just going to concede because this guy's taken the mick and I'm getting grey hairs. Let's go to a game 3. And once again, I continue to be proven why we need a report function for slow playing. You know, like, we do it in online tournaments. It's not that hard to implement, you know. You could at least report a player back in PTGO, if memory serves correctly. But you can't do that here, which is stupid, because there's no punishment, you know. Like, at least give them, if they continue to do it, like, if they're known for doing it, give them a disadvantage or something, or, you know, like, give them a penalty of some degree until they learn to stop slow playing, you know. But that's just me anyway. We do start the Pika, but I'd rather start the Teal Mask. So, I'd rather start the Teal Mask, because at least with Teal Mask we can go, you know, Teal Dance, Earthen Vessel away something, you know, we can make this work. It's just not a great hand for, you know, general purpose. And judging by the sleeves, which, why are they promoting people to play Badoo? I do not know. This is Garchomp. Okay, this could be interesting. So Pika's not very good in this matchup, so there's no point me benching it. So I'm just going to Vessel him away. He's kind of... there's no polite way of putting it. He's kind of shit in this matchup. That's at least the way I would put it. So we'll Teal Dance. Nest Ball's excellent. That's what we like to see. I could go into Kang, but it's no guarantee that I get anything good off of Kang. And Kang is also bad in this matchup, to be fair. I think for now, I'll just grab a Wellspring. I'll do that. Area 0. I can thin this later, so it's fine. And we'll just pass. There's not a lot going on in our hand, but I'd rather, you know, prioritise getting our board set up. Just got to kind of hope they don't play a Badoo, because that could be an issue, but we'll deal with it. The Iono's fine. I can live with that. What do we get off of that? Energy Switch, Lillie's, Latias. That's really good. There's a Poffin. That's fine. Could still take 2 prizes. You know, we could go for double Gibble or double Roselia, but I'd want to get rid of Gibbles. If I can, of course. And they're just going to Spike Sting for 20. I respect that. Alright, let's see what we can get. There's Kang. Kang's pretty good, but not right now. So I'm going to Nest Ball. Grab another Teal Mask. I'll Teal Dance to the active. And well, we might as well Teal Dance again now. There's a Charm, so we can at least make them work a little bit harder for the Wellspring KO. And yeah, just go Lilies, see what we get. We get a Vessel, so that most likely means we have the energy. Now, I'm not going to get rid of this Teal Mask. I'm going to get rid of one of the Dark Energy. And yeah, we have the Water Energy. Excellent. So now we can do that. We can attach for turn. We can Teal Dance to you. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really matter what I take out here. I'm going to bench Passimian as well for added points. And then I'll throw Retreat into the Wellspring. And Torrential Pump. They've not got the energy down, so I think I just take out the damage mods. Like, I think that's fine. Because if we take out a Gibble, then again, no, they get more search off of Gibbles. So yeah, I'll just take out a Gibble and a Roselia. It's not a big deal, but we can deal with it. I'm not too bothered about their damage mods, because obviously they do hit some of our Pokemon for weakness. So, and we even have the Crispin, so Crispin can get us another attack off, which is really good. We can Crispin, go for Wellspring, and go from there. So that's really good for us. That's really good for us. And yeah, they're just going to concede. Nice. We'll take that. We had the option to Crispin, Energy Switch, and we would have had the knockout with that Wellspring. Nice job. And I really do like this archetype. Like I said, though, and before I obviously talk about the deck a little bit more, like what I thought of it, I think the only thing holding this deck back is the fact that you cannot find that crystal. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Or in this case, it's a Pokemon card and a deck of 60 Pokemon cards. But, well, technically, it'd be 40... No. It'd be 47 by the time you start a match. But assuming you get mulligans and then obviously draw for turn and all that jazz, it's about 47, 46. And obviously, if it's prized, that's also an issue. But, you know, every deck can prize its crystal. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I do think it's a very interesting archetype. And obviously, having the option to Passimian is really nice. But ultimately, I think the main thing holding this deck back is the fact that it's very resource intensive if you cannot find that crystal. And obviously, you know, it only plays 2 Area 0, so that is something you could consider as well as maybe upping it to a 3rd. But otherwise, I think the only way to really fix that is adding a Noctowl line, but a very thin one, so maybe 2-2. Because that way you can search out cards that you necessarily need, so like Nest Balls, Energy Switch, Crystal, Crispin... Boss, you know, things like that. Maybe a 2-2 line of Hoot Hoot Noctowl, the 70 HP Noctowls, or the Hoot Hoots, because they're easy to search. You know, just maybe something like that. And obviously, once your stadium gets bumped, you can just discard them, you know? The only other thing that I would probably say is, I think Absol is not the best idea, but I just wanted to play it to try and, like, you know, have the option to have a Dark Attacker. Obviously there are better Dark Attackers out there, I'm pretty certain of it, but still, it's one of those things, like, there's so much room to grow this list, and I've really enjoyed it. So, what did I think to the deck? This deck is really spicy, you know, like, when I saw it on a video, you know, it's one of those things, like, it's a deck that has a lot of lines, but I think because of the fact that it doesn't play a Noctowl line, even just a small line, like a 2-2 line would probably solve this issue. At the bare minimum, anyway. You know, like, there's only so much you can fit in a deck, as they always say, but the fact that, you know, you have so many different options as attackers, and even the Passimian put in some serious work in Game 1, you know, like, these attackers are very good, and it's a very versatile deck list, but I just think you need to find a way to get the crystal better, which, you know, you don't really want to play anything like Tan Store. A small Noctowl line would fix this issue. My only other thing is the concern about if you're using Pika a lot is there's not a lot of recovery. There's only one Super Rod and I think a Night Stretcher, and that's about it. So yeah, there's not a lot of recovery. There's not anything in terms of like guaranteeing Crystal, which would save a lot on your resources. Because we didn't even get to use Crystal once this video, so that sort of indicates my point. But other than that, this list felt really good. I can definitely see why the original list got top 32 in, I think it was Stuttgart or something like that. But yeah, really spicy deck list. Really happy with how it's turned out, and obviously, you know, the modifications and everything. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this deck can grow, because I think it does have growth potential. Anywho, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. Really hope you enjoyed seeing the Ogerpon Toolbox deck, and I'll see you next time.